Chris is a gamer.
Kavanagh right there!
Pat is a baller.
Kavanagh, 5 to shoot. Oh, he threw it in left-handed!
And I'm fired up to watch them battle it out on Monday. When I was in high school or in college, they would always be around the team and be in the locker room. They were never shy of introducing themselves. Chris would ask guys if he could string their stick. He would string my sticks. I would, tell him that I was gonna use his stick, but he was probably around 7 or 8, so he wasn't strong enough to pull down the sidewall. So it was super loose and probably wasn't game ready, but I think it boosted his confidence a little bit and continued to work and practice. So compared to what it is now, you could definitely see the difference. He loved it. He would come in, raid our equipment room, take all the mesh. Guys would be looking for stuff. I told him Chris took it. I just think them having fun, growing up around the game and loving the game made it much more easy for them to pursue it at a super high level.
The Fighting Irish play like a champion today.
You always think about the ceiling of what they could reach together, but winning 2 championships, that's hard to predict.
All that glitters is still gold.
Their success together, though, I could have seen that coming just with the chemistry that they had on and off the field, with the amount of talent that they had on their team and the culture that they had on the team from top down with the coaching staff all the way to the last guy on the roster. It was easy to see why they won back-to-back years.
Pat Kavanagh and his brother Matt playing really for the first time in their lives, given the age difference.
Getting the chance to play with Pat was something I couldn't pass up. I'll cherish those games that we played together forever. That was one of the coolest parts of my professional lacrosse career.
Kavanagh again! Kavanagh, ball game!
But I kind of knew going into that season that it was going to be my last one. Chris was pissed. He was really mad when I told him I was retiring. He wanted me to play for one more, but watching them play together in college, it felt at times that I would get more joy out of watching them play as opposed to even playing in games myself. So I went to the game up in Albany. It was the first time that they played against each other, and it was probably the most fun game that I've ever watched, just because you're rooting for both offenses to score, and that was sick. They both had pretty good games, so it was really fun.
Welcome to the Battle of the Kavanagh brothers. Tonight, for the first time, these 2 former high school teammates and college teammates at Notre Dame will be on opposite teams.
They were probably laughing at Quint being a jokester, but I think it's pretty cool way to start the season, and for one of them gonna be ending the season playing against each other too, so can't write it up any better than that. I think at one point they were trading goals back and forth. They scored 3 straight goals between the 2 of them. So it was just an awesome experience sitting there, seeing how far they've come and getting the opportunity to play against each other at such a high level. I was super proud and just watched the game with a smile on my face the entire time.
Garnsey, the skip, Chris Kavanagh, his first PLL goal.
One of many.
Ryder's one of my best friends. Pretty cool to get his first goal assisted by Ryder. Them getting to work and be close with him during their time at Notre Dame, I think really helped their development and their confidence, obviously with the way they play as well. Having him kind of play the way he does, they see that and they're like, all right, maybe I can get away with a few things like that. This goal was sick.
Malloy again. Initiates the contact, finds Kavanagh!
The way he's able to kind of release shots at any point, whether that's low to low, low to high, just quick releases, I think kind of sets him apart. He's one of my favorite shooters to watch, maybe ever. Probably Marcus Holman, Ryan Brown, Chris, or kind of those 3 guys that just have deadly releases, but I think Chris has a long way to go to kind of be in the conversation with those guys, but from what I've seen, he's kind of up there and on that trajectory.
Kavanagh, topside! 4 goals in his Redwoods debut.
I try and tell him to shoot more with his left hand. Kind of cool seeing his ability to dodge from X and turn the corner and finish that lefty.
Nobody can guard you when you use your left, okay? I got you.
He definitely does have the range and the ability to pull it lefty on the run, so Outlaws might have to put that in the scout for this weekend.
Chris Kavanagh rolling tonight. Roll Woods. California wins this by a final score of 15-12.
I think that first game was a confidence booster for Chris, and then out in California was one of the best games that I've seen Pat play.
It's round 2 for Pat Kavanagh and the Denver Outlaws against his younger brother, Chris.
Kavanagh, he plays with some fire, and he's got the first goal of the weekend for Denver.
You know, our conversations and what they are hoping to do is be aggressive and get into the game super early, being confident, carrying the ball, and getting to the cage.
Here comes Sam English, number 3 pick in the draft. Kavanagh for 2! What a start for the Kavanagh family. Pat on one end, Chris says, I'll one-up you on this end.
This was one of the things that I was most excited for. I was hoping he would shoot more 2s.
Right back at you, Patty.
I think that's something that he's going to try and work on and try and look to improve upon is his 2-point shooting percentage.
Shot clock inside 5. O'Neal creates some space and pings the corner.
Yeah, Brendan O'Neal is just a freak. He can do so many special things with the ball in his stick, but I feel like him as an off-ball player and his range really puts a lot of stress on the defense. Getting to see them play with each other this year after watching them play against each other for so many years in college, it's been awesome. Definitely one of the deadliest duos in the league.
Yeah.
There's Kavanagh, steps inside the arc and scores again. It is the Pat Kavanagh show here in San Diego.
That's kind of what's put them, you know, in the semifinal with a bye is their own selfishness and ability to move the ball with so much talent on the offense.
That is a thing of beauty, and it's Pat Kavanagh. There's Justin Anderson from the midfield into Kavanagh for another dunk, and he pays the price.
Probably was my favorite goal that Pat scored this year. It was like a question mark up the hash in this game.
Kavanagh goes for the question mark. Pat Kavanagh puts together his best performance as a pro.
They'll head to the All-Star break as the leaders of the West.
You know, you go the whole summer grinding and battling with your teammates and sacrificing a lot of time. So when it gets down to kind of these last few playoff games, you want to leave it all out there and just have the chance to play for a championship. It's Pat's birthday on Monday, so you know, it could be a good birthday for him. It could be a tough birthday for him. So we'll see. We'll see if Chris gets him a present or not. I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully this is kind of like an annual thing with them, you know, battling it out to see who's playing in that championship in the Western Conference. You know, I have a bunch of old Outlaws gear still and have some old Redwoods gear still. So I'm trying to figure out what merch I'm going to be wearing to the game. My advice to them would be just let it rip. I mean, you got to make plays in big games, and you can't be afraid to make mistakes, but also at the same time being aggressive and confident enough to make plays. So I don't really have any predictions, but I'm expecting them to leave it all out there and play great games, both of them.